Hello and welcome to the Valley Oak Paper YouTube channel. My name is Cecilia and this is the card I'm going to make today. It's a monochrome holiday card with a Christmas stocking and 2 gnomes. The card features 3 Spellbinders products. A stocking full of joy. This was the large die of the month for July this year. This would be great to use with scraps because there are lots of small dies that combine to create characters or greenery. In my blog post, I have a photo with labels for all the dies. And these are the outlined Christmas sentiments. I really like this typeface. The die set includes 10 mix and match holiday sentiments. And then the embossing folder sweater weather that creates a wonderful knit texture. To create my monochromatic card, I used Recollections 110 pounds cardstock. The pack is called Garden Greens and it includes 4 different green shades. I also used Recollections green foiled cardstock. And the white cardstock is Accent Opaque 120 pounds cover weight. I started with the die cutting. From the white cardstock I cut out the stocking and cup, 2 candy cane base layers, 2 beards and noses for our gnomes, both the word and the shadow layer for the sentiment phrase. From the darkest green I'm die cutting a gnome, a candy cane overlay and the stocking. For the second darkest green I'm die cutting another gnome, large holly leaves and the sentiment shadow layers. From the third green I'm cutting 4 holly sprigs, and from the lightest green I'm only cutting 2 mistletoe sprigs. From the foiled cardstock I'm cutting the details for the stocking, a set of candy cane overlays and the words for the sentiment. That's all the die cutting. Now we can start assembling. I'm going to stack the green and white layers, but first I'm edging the white die cut with a green Tombow marker so it looks as if it's one solid layer. I also have 2 layers for the cuff. The cutout stayed inside the white layer. I like the white showing through the foiled cardstock, so I'm applying some mint tape to the back of the white layer. Then I glue the 2 layers together. Now I'm adding the toe and the heel. Align them to the edge of the stocking. That way the distance between the detail layer and the first stitching is consistent. Now I can glue the cuff to the top of the stocking too. I ink blended the noses with Tattered Rose Distress Oxide. Then I glued the noses onto the beards and the beards onto the hats. I glued 1 set of arms pointing down and 1 set pointing up. And this is the result. Aren't they cute? For the candy canes, I started by finding the piece for the curve and the 2 pieces to the left and right of it. Then I placed the other pieces in the other spots. I place the gnomes on the top of the cuff to the left and right. Then I glued together the candy canes. I checked the placement against the card base, then glued them to the back of the stocking. Here I have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch panel of the second darkest green cardstock. I'm misting the back and putting it inside the sweater weather embossing folder. That gives us this lovely texture. I'm going to ink blend on it with Uncharted Mariner Distress Oxide, starting from the middle and fading out towards the edges. This will give more depth and definition to the stocking and foliage. I've cut down my background to 4 inch by 5 1/4, and now I'm backing it with a piece of Accent Opaque 120 pounds. That's a 1/4 inch less in height and width. Next, I'm ink blending on the foliage to give it more depth. I'm using Uncharted Mariner on the holly die cuts and blending it from the middle and outward. For this, I'm using a detail bending brush. On the mistletoe leaves, I'm using salvage patina and again blending from the middle and outward. Next, I'm adding tiny bits of foam tape to the back of the top leaves. Moving on to the sentiments, I'm starting by stacking the shadow layers. Then I stack the words. I apply glue to the front of the white layer and dab off the excess on the back of my hand. This way I won't get glue on the front of the word. Sometimes I use my tweezers to line up the delicate parts. Now I can add the words to the shadow layers. Isn't this typeface just charming? I'd love for you to like this video and to subscribe to my channel. I post card making videos weekly on Sundays. I'm also planning some giveaways. You may want to enable notifications so you don't miss those. I add foam tape to the back of the stocking, but I don't remove the backing paper just yet. Now I can add the sentiment to the stocking. I tried a couple different placements before I settled on parallel to the sole of the stocking. I held the stocking in place with strong magnets while I placed the foliage. I start with one sprig in each corner. Then I fill in the spaces on the left and right of the stocking. When I was satisfied with my arrangement, I adhered the stocking to the card panel. I auditioned a couple different embellishments for the berries: gold and silver pearls and green crystals. In the end, I went with the silver because of the many cool tones in the green and blue die cuts. I used the second smallest pearls for the berries. Then I added more of the smallest pearls to the card front. Finally, I glued the card panel onto the card base. And that finishes the card for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will show you some more still images at the end of the video. You can find links to everything I used in today's card in the description box below, as well as in my blog post on valley-oak-paper.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.